Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMTrading. Today is November 23rd, 2022, and today is Wednesday morning. So looking at the major highlights of the day, the U.S. markets gained before this FOMC comments later today. And as we look at the major economic events of today, we got a bunch of services, PMI and manufacturing PMI numbers coming out. Starting out at 10:15, we have French, 10:30 German, 11:30 Great Britain, and then at 4:45 out of the United States as well. Now, lastly, out of the United States later tonight, we have the FOMC meeting minutes at 9 p.m. Now, looking at the various markets, the Forex symbols, we're looking at the euro gaining while the indices, the Dow Jones gained, but the NASDAQ pretty much unchanged. Looking at commodities, gold retracing further, and oil unchanged as well. Looking at the stocks, JP Morgan, CISCO, and Microsoft rallied to resistance, but the rest kind of faltered. Bitcoin also bounces. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go with the euro. We are at that level. Once again, we're going to test it later today just because this major number is coming out of the United States. So, this is all kind of factored in, so to speak, as we go into Thanksgiving, which is generally a happy time of the year for the stock markets, usually rallying around this time. GBP also on the top of its range here, and you could see it just right there, okay? Whereas the euro is a little bit stronger. The Australian dollar also gained just a little bit. Looking at Canadian dollar, retracing just a bit before this situation, the dollar retracing versus the Canadian dollar. So all the major pairs kind of like inching higher right before this major number coming out later today. Now, as we look at commodities, gold retracing down to 1242 after hitting 1790-ish level earlier this week. So it's been on a relative correctional move, and it is hitting a certain threshold as well. Now, as we look at crude oil, pretty much unchanged, okay? When we look at it, it's at $81. Now, it looks like it's breaking that 30-day moving average, and if it crosses over with the 8-day over the 30-day moving average, that's a nice buy signal. So just keep an eye on this because this may make a correction on the upside. Now, looking at the U.S. markets, getting really interesting. First, looking at the Dow Jones, trading right now at 34,138, just down about 20 points, 50 points. It went higher about 300 points yesterday. Now, this is in anticipation to this major news. So, are we completely out? No. Okay, are we completely above this area? Not necessarily, but if I see certain buying later today, then I would say we're getting much stronger. We may see ourselves in the 34,500. Believe it or not, because if we cross over this line, okay, this particular line, we could see ourselves back above here at 34,500, and this is just such a steep incline from our low of 28,800 just about 5 weeks ago. So unbelievable moves in the Dow Jones this week. Looking at the NASDAQ, it gained, but not anywhere close to what the Dow is gaining. Okay, so altogether, it's relatively weak here. Okay, so if we do see some kind of sell-off, I do anticipate that it will capitulate. Now, looking at Apple, gained yesterday. If you look at JP Morgan on its highs, okay, which represents the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones. Okay, looking at Alcoa, also closer to its highs. Okay, so there's some excitement here in the market. However, and lastly, Microsoft also on the top of its range here as we're seeing that move higher. Now, if we look at stocks like Facebook, not doing much. Okay, if we look at stocks like, where was it? Intel, not doing much. This is disconcerting, okay? So there's like a certain shift in the market right now. There are some stocks that are doing well, some stocks that are not doing well. Everybody's just digesting the environment right now that we're living in. Lastly, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin kind of came back from the dead here. I'm also almost breaking further down as it hit that 15,800-ish level yesterday. Okay, we're just at 16,000 above it. So keeping alive, at least for now. Let's see what happens going into today's session. This is Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.